After reading the title of this video, you might be thinking, why? What does that mean? How the hell will that work? Well, I don't really have a good answer. I just thought that Peppa Pig had the spunk, moxie, and energy needed to slay gods. So, let's find out if Peppa Pig has what it takes to become Elden Lord. I encountered the first challenge for this video before the run even started. Peppa Pig doesn't canonically use any weapons in the show, from what I can tell. So I asked myself, what would Peppa Pig use to crush her foes? Honestly, I have never seen the show.
You what?
All I've seen are just a few clips here and there of Peppa's notorious sass, so I did some Googling. Did you know that there are 2 Peppa Pig worlds, one in Italy and the other in Germany? Maybe that's common knowledge, but I was shocked. I also saw another thing that gave me everything I felt I needed. No, not the picture of Peppa Pig with a Glock. It was a depiction of the heights of her and her family, which showed her at a whopping 7 feet and 1 inches. Out of curiosity, I looked up the height required to be classified as a giant, and it is 7 feet. This is for humans, obviously, but she is an anthropomorphic pig, so I think it's still relevant. Just for a bit more confidence, I looked up her weight. This Reddit user did an in-depth analysis of Peppa Pig's likely weight, estimating her at 1,700 pounds. The internet is truly a magical place. So why does any of this matter? Well, making a build based on a giant is far easier than what I had before. Elden Ring's most beloved boss, the fire giant, was the best template to start with. This isn't a fire giant challenge though, so it was just a guideline. So what is Peppa Pig's official combat style? Big bonk and fire. Okay, let's get into the challenge run. Starting off strong, I lost all of the footage leading up to Godrick. Thankfully, I don't think I did much prior to him aside from the Morgott fight. This is a good time to say I haven't beaten many of the Elden Ring bosses without summoning other players or using spirit summons. With 2 exceptions, I wanted to do this run without summoning NPCs or spirits. It will become very obvious which bosses I have and have not previously beaten solo as the run goes on. With a club and a dream, Peppa Pig faced off against her first required boss fight. The footage starts on my second attempt at Godrick. The first time I mistimed my jumps with his ground pounder attack. The second fight was okay. I did attempt to damage him with Flame Grant Me Strength instead of Catch Flame. I then proved I can dodge the ground smasher, only to get blasted in the face with a tornado. But the next time he used his Gale Force Winds, I mostly dodged it, earning another redemption. Peppa Pig blows flames in his face a few more times, and voila! He's chopping off his arm and fisting a dragon.
By the 9 Divines! Assault! Assault!
Phase 2 was unremarkable. Peppa Pig just bashed him with her club and spit fire in his face, putting the deformed creature out of its misery. I then gathered half of the Dectus medallion at Fort Farah, and at this point I was feeling confident as Peppa, a feeling that would soon be a distant memory. Anyways, I went to kill the Caelid Erdtree avatar for both the Opaline bubble tier and the runes. It's been a while since I've played the game, so some controls were getting mixed up. And that's how Peppa Pig ended up basically just cheering in the face of a giant tree creature that promptly flattened her with a meat tenderizer. That was unfortunate, but the next attempt Peppa showed Smokey there she had no intentions to stop forest fires as she lit the tree ablaze.
By the gods, there is a psychopath on the loose!
Next, I headed to Fort Height. I contracted a disease from a rat that kills me, and returned to collect the second half of the Dectus medallion. I go to the Malefactor's Everjail for another flame incantation. Adam beats the fuck out of me. Twice. I murder Adam because there's only room for one flame-slinging fatty in this town. I then grab the Academy Gate Key, use it, but ignore the Academy entirely. Peppa Pig doesn't need schooling, she prefers to teach lessons, with a club. I verify my ID and take the elevator to Altus Plateau. I teach the locals about fire safety.
Man down! Man down!
Grab the talisman after accidentally killing the subject, and return to Caelid for the Radahn festival. A man wearing clown pants shows me a video of a large man riding a sickly donkey.
Eaten from the inside by Malenia's scarlet rot.
And then absolutely going to town eating a corpse.
Now he gathers the corpses of former friends and foes alike, gorging on them like a dog.
You what?
I am then sent down to deal with the guy. Remember how I said I refused to do 2 fights solo? Well, this is one of those fights. Maybe I would be more interested in learning the patterns of this fight if there wasn't a much more interesting fight with the same boss later on. When I mentioned that the confidence I was feeling would quickly disappear, well, you can start to see that when, after my 4th death, I left and decided Peppa actually could benefit from some schooling. Here are some lessons she learned at the Raya Lucaria Academy. Lesson 1. The school frowns upon lighting fellow students on fire. Lesson 2.
This is the part where you fall down and bleed to death!
Wolves eat pigs. Lesson 3.
It's all over, lawbreaker. Your spree is at an end.
Fire is more effective at dealing with wolves than building a brick house. Lesson 4.
Help! Murder!
Moongrum is ass. And lesson 5. The impacts of inbreeding are exacerbated when you're breeding yourself. Ew.
Oh my god, no. Oh no, you're a freak. Oh god.
During the Renalla fight, I succeeded in bonking enough paraplegic children on the head with a club to force Moon Mommy to come down. I get her to half health, but when she returns to her floating state, she biffs a bunch of disabled children at me, killing me. Next time I managed to finish her first phase, Peppa grabbed her beating stick and went to club the defenseless woman.
Mother's rich slumber shall not be disturbed by thee.
The woman's daughter intervenes and through the power of love and moon, heals her mother's paralysis, leading us into phase 2. Well, it didn't take long for the new and improved Renalla to kill us. I ran in again and... yeah, I died for a 3rd time. Against fucking Renalla. I used to think I was good at this game. What the fuck happened? With my ego fully slaughtered, I decided some upgrades might be necessary. First, I went to the Volcano Manor to get the Erdtree seal, which I believe is the best seal for faith scaling. Then I headed over to the troll in a fancy hat for him to improve my seal.
I am E.G.
I'm Peppa Pig.
I collect Somber Stones 5 and 6, and forget to use them to improve my seal before going back to Radahn. but I guess that didn't really matter since I died to an arrow before the fight even started. After dying another 4 times, I felt like it was time for Peppa to go to the farm. The Rune Farm. I went to Peppa's school bully, lit a grieving woman on fire.
I do not wish to cause anyone harm.
And returned to Vare so he could gnaw Piggy off this piggy. He gives me the Pureblood Knight's Medal, which can teleport you to the Mohg Dynasty. He tells me not to use it yet,
but you mustn't use it just yet.
But Peppa is nothing if not a spiteful, ignorant pig. So I stared at him in the face and warped to the new location. Now for Peppa to teach you about finances. Financial stability can be assured by climbing a steep cliff, inching to the edge of it, and through the power of prayer, when you jump off, this lethal fall will be perfectly safe. And you'll get famous for surviving this and make tons of money. After repeating the process a few times, I felt a bit more comfortable with my stats and was ready to move on. I returned to the Radahn fight, where I died another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 times. But then this fight happened.
By the 9 divines! Assault! Assault! Help! Murder! Stop right there, criminal scum!
This was probably the most unimpressive Radahn fight you have or will ever witness. But I simply do not care. Because he's dead and that's what matters. With 0 flasks and a tiny amount of HP, I let my friends handle the rest of the fight, and the fight was over. Thank God. Now it was time to get into the capital. All I have to do is clear the Draconic tree Sentinel out of the way, which should be easy. Fuck. Okay, well, let's go again. For anyone wondering, that was 91 deaths. I am fucking dead inside. But with that out of the way, I felt a little bit better, so it was time for me to pay a visit to Renalla to get our revenge. Shit, this was supposed to be easy. Why am I feeling so hard right now? It's okay, I got her in the next attempt, putting Renalla at an unfortunate 4 attempts. Since I won't have armor for a little bit longer, I went to collect the blue dancer charm for a damage buff. I went down to Nokron to kill myself.
Oh no, he's hot!
Used a larval tear with Renalla and gave myself the stats required to wield the Dragon's Claw weapon I got from the Draconic Tree Sentinel. The next fight is Piss Godfrey.
By the gods, there is a psychopath on the loose! Stop right there, criminal scum! Help! Help! I'm being attacked!
After only 2 deaths, Peppa Pig showed him whose piss was more potent.
Graceless.
Peppa Pig!
What is thy business, flame of ambition? Godrick the Golden. The twin prodigies, Mikola and Mikola. General Mikola. Praetor Mikola. Luna Princess Mikola. Willful Mikola. All pillagers, emboldened by the flame Mikola. Have it writ upon thy meager Mikola. Felled by Luna Princess Mikola. Last of all Mikolas.
After the unique cutscene, Morgott makes Peppa Pig into pork chops in the matter of seconds.
Mikola.
Remember how I said there were 2 bosses I refused to fight solo? This was the other one. I think the trauma of the Draconic Tree Sentinel fucked me up, so as the losses started stacking up, I couldn't do it. After 2 more losses, me and Malenia managed to take out Lunar Princess Mikola. With the path to the mountaintop of the giants cleared, I could access the next key component to the Peppa build. I find a fire prelate and prepare for an excruciating grind. But thankfully, after the first kill, it gives me the fire prelate armor. Dear viewers, I present you with Peppa Pig, future lord of the lands between. I only have one more thing to gather to bring my vision of Elden Peppa Pig to life. So I went and beat a woman named Eleanor to death to collect a tear from her. With that, it was time to take on Mohg, lord of not technically breaking the law because the child seduced him.
Dearest Mikola, you must come. I honor the guest.
You what?
In my first attempt, I managed to beat him into his second phase, but my frantic, imprecise rolling lost me the fight. After losing a few more times, I felt like I understood his attack patterns pretty well.
Stop right there, criminal scum! It's all over, lawbreaker. This is the part where you fall down and bleed to death. Just warming up, you pathetic worm! Man down! Man down!
I actually managed to get through his first phase hitless. And phase 2 wasn't hitless, but it was relatively clean for someone who died 91 times to Draconic Tree Sentinel.
Honor Mikola.
After 29 attempts, Mohg was defeated. I made a quick visit to the Realm of Shadow to murder a group of people that look like my distant relatives so I can rip one of their arms off. This Bloodfiend arm is the last piece to create the ultimate Elden Peppa Pig. I upgraded the arm and visited Renalla again to reset my stats. The Bloodfiend arm has a glitch, I guess, where its physical damage increases with faith scaling. So putting the flame art on it makes the weapon hit very hard for faith builds. With the build finished, it was time to wrap up the game. First on Peppa's hit list was the Fire Giant. For Peppa to assume her role as a Fire Giant, she had to murder the last remaining member of the species so no one could prove she isn't one.
Explosion due to the carelessness of a friend, well, that'd just be okay. After just 2 deaths, Peppa came out on top.
Help! Murder!
I talked to Malenia,
Hi, how are you?
pass out because I do not like being touched.
By the 9 Divines! Assault! Assault!
She tries to catch my interest by embracing fire,
Flamethrower!
but just ends up fucking dying. It was time to take down the Godskin Duo, a fight which I had never beaten solo, but my setup had me feeling pretty confident, so I decided to give it a go.
So I missed!
Honestly, I feel like my first attempt could have gone really well if I didn't whiff that sleep pot, so let's try again.
Help! Help! I'm being attacked! There's a psychopath on the loose! Such violence! Can't you settle this peacefully? Stop right there, criminal scum!
Hell yeah, take that, you big-ass skin suit wearing fucks. On my way to Maliketh, I ran past the Draconic tree sentinel because trauma.
I don't know you, and I don't care to know you.
Time to do another fight I've never done solo. Okay, that was sloppy, but I did make it to second phase on the first try, so I feel pretty good.
Death. Oh, death. Death. Oh, 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 death. Oh, death, death. Oh, 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 death, 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 death.
Also, if I can kill the Godskin Duo, I can kill this fuck-ass horse girl. Honestly, I feel like Phase 2 Maliketh is easier for me than Phase 1. I ended the second phase almost hitless and was transported to the city I helped burn down.
And you come for the Elden Ring. What a sad state of affairs. I commend your spirit.
Stop right there, criminal scum!
None shall take the throne. In my come. Verteidigt. Cannot come.
I fought Gideon the All-Coming, and all it took was 3 bonkers for him to take a permanent nap. Time for a long and hard fight.
Alas, I am long and hard.
Must have been the wind.
Upon my name as the long and hard. Mikala will be whole. Thou didst me good service.
Poor. My gods, there's a psychopath on the loose! Help! Murder!
Now I fight just long and hard.
Poor. Help! Help! I'm being attacked!
Keeping up with the trend, I did take him to phase 2 on my first attempt, but ultimately he showed that animal cruelty is his specialty, killing his dog and an anthropomorphic pig in the span of a minute. Time for a special death montage. Flying Pig Edition.
By the Nine Divines! Assault! Assault!
God, no. Oh, no, you're a freak. Oh, God.
Stop right there, criminal scum! Stop! Stop! Stop!
Another boss I've never done solo, dead. Now for one of my favorite fights in the base game, Rada-Beast. Peppa Pig is about to be a god-slaying diva.
Oh no, he's hot! Stop right there, criminal scum! Oh no, he's hot! What? Will you fall down and bleed to death? A fine pair of boots, lizard.
First fucking try, Peppa has slayed the very gods. Fuck yes. But there's still one more thing to do before Peppa can confidently become Elden Lord.
My flesh was rotted, and my blood rotted. Mikola after Mikola left in my corpse as I awaited rotted. Corpse Mikola. Mikola, my words. I am Mikola, blade of Mikola, and I have never known Mikola. Wait, rotted.
After losing to Mikola, Blade of Mikola, in the second phase, multiple losses were stacking up. Yes, a lot of them came down to skill issues. But I was also determined to learn something. The ultimate skill. Dodging waterfowl dance up close. And who better to learn it with than the almighty Peppa Pig? So, let's see if we can learn something. The first few deaths I had were from Malenia entering waterfowl after I did a heavy attack, and I still don't know how to fully recover from that, but I did learn how to survive. At first, I was getting killed on the first attack, but soon I could maneuver enough to survive the first assault. The next two would kill me, but it was progress. To get to this point, I found widening my rotation under her gave me a bit more space than when I made a small circle. My next issue was not dodging in time. If I dodged too late, the slashes from the first attack would stun lock me. I realized that I was kind of looking at the rotations all wrong. They had a minimal effect on how far she was from me. It was about timing the rolls based on the rotation. The most important part is that you are mostly below her. This attempt, I survived. I had the roll timing pretty much right, but my positioning was still off a little bit. The next time I made it through with a bit more help. Another issue was being locked on. It could lead to me rolling into the attack unintentionally. I managed to survive after I got a jump hit off on her and she entered waterfowl. At this point, I felt confident in surviving, but something wasn't quite clicking for the perfect dodge. My timing was off, but a simple solution to making dodge time easier is the light roll. Oh my god, let's fucking go, I did it! Holy shit. Let's kill this fucker. Malenia dead, it's now time for Peppa Pig to claim her rightful spot on the Elden throne.
A seed will look back upon us and recall an age of
Peppa Pig!
Peppa Pig has done it. She has become Elden Lord. The lands between will never be the same. But Peppa's journey doesn't end here. In the next video, she will take over the Shadow Realm to take full control of the world of Elden Ring. If you liked the video, be sure to give it a like and subscribe for future videos. Bye.